and welcome back to the channel, to the stream, to the wonderful that is Rome 2. So yeah, we're back. We've just conquered this city, and we're gonna lick our wounds and promote our soldiers. Army traditions, let's do those two. So yeah, as I was saying in the previous one, this is obviously heavily modded, so you get a lot of extra chances to upgrade when you each level up, which is always a big thing. Oh, we actually have some food! As most of you all know, in the last one we had a massive attrition issue, so I should need to scrap this off a sec. Or do I? Are you still suffering from attrition? Why are you still suffering from attrition? The region's got all the food it needs. Maybe we have to end the turn. Let's try that, see what happens. We now have 3 food. Oh, I was going to say what happened then. It's end turn, of course. Right. So yes, I think in this episode we're going to continue with our push north. In the last one we took 2 cities. I think we'll go north this time around. There's no point really going south because the... I think it's Seleucia is in the south. I can't remember, I'll go and check in a sec. Way too armoured for us to launch an attack just yet. Respect to the dead, we're very real concern. Cool. Ah, yes, there we go. No more attrition. And a edict. That's what we like. Let's get rid of that because I don't need that now. Right, plenty of food. Grecian archers. No, I'll leave that for the time being. Yeah, we've got major attrition issues down here. So let's just bulk up our army. Oh, these guys are really cool. Just because they look cool. I mean, it's the sheer amount of abilities they have that just make them so OP. But we are Rome. And this is what it's about. It's all about being OP and extraordinary. Oh, I've only got 1 room for 1. Gutting. It's because I don't actually need so many of these guys with these archers. Let's get rid of you guys. Yeah, bye bye. Would like some cavalry though. Socrates extraordinary. Let's have some cavalry. Get some fast manoeuvring on. Right. Ah, that was it. I wanted to look at some diplomacy, see if we can make ourselves some friends. Syracuse, that was it. Already trading. Let's see if we can
I am here to listen if you speak honestly. Truth will be your... We...
Right, so who actually... that's right. Nobody likes us. Let's see if we can trade with the
Be welcome, and may Hermes bless your word.
No.
There will
Right,
be...
so it's obviously going to be a while before we move on anybody in that direction. So, we've got an army there. I think it's time to raise a new one. The army mechanic in this one, like the hero mechanic, is a really interesting one. Because you have to raise a general. You've only got certain generals, but you can raise them from different houses. So there's obviously there's a cost associated with it. Actually, I will recruit you. Ooh. Mega cavalry. That would be Octavius himself. Mark Antony. Julius Caesar. Yeah, let's actually just recruit Julius Caesar himself. We'll give him a badass legion to command. So this was the other thing, is you could just raise an army from nothing. In this. See, as I mentioned before, Underdog, when we play, he refers to this as the cheat. Because it's kind of takes a lot of the management side out of it. Which I can't take away from him, he's not wrong. But I personally think this is just a lot more fun. Because you can just have obscene armies, just huge quantities of them. I mean, to be fair, we're still limited by the amount of armies we can actually raise at 250. So, you know, there's still some limits. We can't just continually make stuff. I don't see what his problem is. Right, you're recruiting, so I can't go anywhere. You're doing the same. Don't really want to upgrade you just yet. I need to upgrade you. And boom, next turn. 250 armies, that's nothing. Yeah, so the point I was getting at on this one is that your armies, whereas before in the first Rome, you could just build individual units, then have like a mass meeting point, which I did always north of Italy, so you'd just be able to pull resources from there. This one's a bit different. This one you've got to have actual armies, and they follow the generals. So I suppose in that sense it's a bit more realistic, in that your army is your army. So if you were the general, obviously you'd be quite what's the word I'm looking for? You know, quite sort of their mine. Hidden agents, dun dun dun. I don't panic, we're going to wipe them out in a bit. Excuse me, apologies for the continuous hiccups, I seem to be suffering from them quite a lot lately. So if you can hear them, I'm really sorry. See, these are useful to have if you're planning, like when we attack here, for example. You can use these as off-site artillery, which is always good fun. Well, what I think we'll do when we do that is we'll wait for... There are no... Oh, there we go, mercenary tab. So yeah, we'll wait 2 turns for them, then we'll charge them off. And they'll go north. Right, so I don't really want to do a lot this turn. I suppose it's winter, it shouldn't ever attack in the winter. Purely because when it comes to moving around the north and part of Italy's, you can obviously walk through snow areas and really heavy frost, which acts as an attrition. So you actually injure your soldiers walking across. The same goes for the desert, when you start moving through some of the dunes and stuff. You get it. I don't really know where I was taking that. I just wanted to share. I've not actually encountered it as a problem. Apologies, I have the world's peculiarest laugh recently. Some say it's endearing, some say it's just weird. Some look at me like I've had some sort of tranquilizer. Or in this case, the absence of excellent juice. Right, see this, the whole, this notoriety thing was quite an interesting mechanic they added into the game, because it actually forces you to interact with your empire. Here, so like, your general is seeking permission to sail down the Colica Maxima. He feels the spectacle will provide a distraction for the people and displays impressive piece of Roman architecture. A dispute is risen. It says -3 gravitas for every time I allow it. We've got allow him. It may prove costly, but the people will enjoy the spectacle. Prevent him. What is this madness? The idea alone is laughable, but when you consider the cost, send the fool away. Do nothing. Let this madman do as he will. Well, see, I'm going to allow him because I know full well the Romans were well up for their mentalness. I mean, you talk to people like Caligula, that dude was all over the shop. So yeah, fortunately, while we're here, you can see that we've started to gain an extra swing in this section of the house. Spread rumours, no, I don't want to do any of this. Secure promotion. What this actually does is, this is actually quite an interesting mechanic within the game. So as you can see, that every time we do this, he changes his ability to manage, but the problem you've also got is if you make them too powerful, they can wander off into a separate state. Look at the authority on this. See, oh, let me show you here. I have to come out of here and I'll show you. This actually makes a big difference. So it gives you additional abilities, especially without the aura, and the same with this. So they're definitely to be aware of, especially resolve if you're scaling up champions. They're really what you want to do. So these guys, you want this because this is good for one-on-one combat and training your soldiers. The military training on this is actually a really good thing, because it means for as long as this dude is in this army, these guys will train outside of combat. So you can end up with like battle-hardened, seriously hefty armies rocking around that have not actually seen the enemy yet. It's quite an interesting way of doing it. I know when I was playing with a couple of my mates, Electromaniac and Underdog, we'd got. I mean, I think they were playing as the tribes. I seem to recall London playing as Swabia, which was kind of amusing because it very much suits his playstyle of just en masse chaos, because that's just how the guy likes to play. And I was playing as Rome, and when we were arriving, I think we invaded Britain, and his armies were like properly experienced. I mean, they were all silver tier, they'd all got loads of military traditions, and I was turning up with gold tier units that had never actually been in a fight because they'd just been trained so well, which to me sounded like quite a good way of actually doing it. So you're sort of fighting alongside barbarians. Oh dear, this did not go down well. As the general sailed down the Colica Maxima, people packed the banks, cheering and waving. The spectacle may have been costly, but you cannot put a price on the benefits of a happy Roman mob even. No, lost loads of support. However, didn't seem to matter. Excellent. Well, we'll leave it at that for the time being. Right. Morale. Yeah, see, morale's quite a big thing in this one, as you'll see in some of the others, where you're... Let's just move these guys up. Where the fights are easily won and determined by how quickly you can break the enemy. So let's see how powerful these guys are. I can't do that here. Wrong game. Right, so... Devious, confident, and they're already at war with somebody. Excellent. Well, do we want to give them advance warning, or do we want to just attack? Let's see. Let's take 2 turns to get there. I must deal with the Etruscans while I'm thinking about it as well. Alright, so let's move you guys to there. We can get onto the ships. That was another thing about this one, is you don't need a navy to move your troops around. The armies themselves become like boats in effect, which is quite an interesting dynamic to work with. So let's just get a second fleet over here. So yeah, you hadn't got to worry about having a fleet in the area, so to say, because you could just move your units around, so it wasn't ever a big deal. Which I thought was quite a nice move, rather than having to have huge supporting fleets. Which is pros and cons, I suppose, because you can have situations like this, where the Carthaginians have just rocked up, they've got an army, we're cool. Whereas on like Shogun, you actually had to move them with ships, which meant you couldn't pickpocket an army. Do you know what I mean? So if there's a couple of ships, you just went for everything. I don't really know what I'm trying to say. I think it's just a good thing. I think that's just pretty much what I'm trying to get at. That it's one of these better feedback things that they went with. Oh yeah, I should also probably point out, I know that if you're watching this on YouTube, you probably noticed that I'm running at 60 FPS at the minute. There seems to be something up with my computer where it seems to only be recording 15 FPS, but it seems to be recording at 60 to be fair, but at a much lower, yeah, I don't really care, at a much lower resolution. Yeah, I have no allies to call to the fight, so I don't really care. Which kind of gives like a sort of chunky, so I've got to work out why it's decided to start doing that. So I know it looks kind of jittery. It doesn't look it for me, it looks stunningly beautiful. But that's because I play it in 1080, which it is supposed to be recording in, so I apologise for those of you that aren't seeing it. But if you are, awesome, lucky you. What do I want to do? Latin culture is one of the big things of this, because it kind of sneaks up on you. I've got plenty of food coming in at the minute. Right, so one more turn and you are on there, jammy. Can we do? So what's going on up here? See who wins that fight. Right, next turn. Ooh. Did I I forget to upgrade somebody? Him already? Oh no. So, next turn. Right, yes, we'll invade the little village of Gehenna. No, Genna? Is it Genya? I'm going to call it Genna. Comment on me if you know how to actually pronounce these things. I'm so bad. Do you think I'd spend some time actually learning these things? Well, like I say, my ancient Latin is not brilliant. I say my modern Latin, being as Latin's a bit of a dead language. I don't think there is a modern Latin.
Your potions and charms had novelty, but it is...
That does not bode well, because that has the potential for actual violence. Right, I think we're going to have to bribe them back into an alliance. He's not going to like the fact that we've just attacked, sort of almost unprovoked.
Will you not give our people...
Yeah, it's only 800, I don't really care. Yeah, I'm going to renegotiate that, I think.
Greetings, my friend. You have my ear for your speech, and if it profits my people, agreement too.
Wow, you guys really don't want to be friends with me, do you?
Ah, my friend, I would spare you further embarrassment. We cannot simply give you money.
Okay. In that case then, my friend, we will totally bribe the pants off you because we have an obscene amount of money to play with.
Ah, my friend.
Alright, Sodja. In that case then we'll just raise an army. And protect ourselves. Good life. I don't think it is. If you ask around... Yeah, so this is what you want to be aware of when you move to a fleet. What's that dropped? Interesting. Oh, it's because he's an admiral. It's only when he's on land. Your movement is halved. You have the option to obviously do the forced move, but that has quite a lot of... No! So now we can do a naval invasion. Control a large army. Sod it. Right! That couldn't have worked out worse. Yeah, let's attack. Yeah, so what we're going to do now is we're going to do all like a full-on Normandy invasion. Because I don't think this is going to go... Oh, I don't even have a lot of room to deploy my troops on. Did I even quick save? Well, Grim, you better win. Otherwise the Third Legion's getting wiped out. Julius Caesar himself will die. Bravo! Yeah, start deployment. Yeah, you're my general of the fleet, so you're going to stay out of this. Flammable rounds, you're up front. And you guys, I'm just going to use you to harass the enemy. Oh wait, my reinforcement's coming from over here. Let's do it from over here instead. As the little icon over here suggests. So yeah, but you guys can be protected by these ones. Well, levitate ships can just go straight in at them. Because the plan I've got, just occurred to me, is that as my ships arrive, you guys can just harass them. Yeah, probably try and land them, to be fair.
Our reinforcements have arrived.
I'll move them. I need you guys to get on the beach as quickly as possible. this is where the real problem occurs. Because I now can't deploy these guys properly. So annoying. This is so bad. Oh well. I'm sure it'll all work out in the end. Right, you guys continue harassing them. That's what we can do. Anywhere that hasn't already been. Oh, I'm gonna land right on their base. Let's see what happens. Right. Can you guys hit anything yet? I've got you on fire at will, haven't I? No, not yet. They can't hit anything, so let's get them a lot closer. I'm such a donut. Oh, some of my units are finally on land. Looking as epic as ever in the regal blue. More units are on shore. There he is, Julius Caesar himself, and he's utterly badass cavalry. Oh, everybody just form up quickly. There we go, they actually are doing something.
At your command, support ships! Give way! Brave Romans to a man! Set oars! At your command, support ships!
They're not really going to do a lot, but it's... I take that back, they actually did a really nice thing. This I'm more worried about, that they're going to start wanting to form up on me. Need to get our lines formed fast. Because these guys are going to want on us quick. Just looking at OBS, this really does look poor for you guys. I'm so sorry. Because for me it looks stunning. Not that that's of any help to any of you. Let's start ordering this. It's just 'cause army maintenance is easier at this point. I'm concerned about you guys landing. The cavalry units, there's not much point in them landing. There's no boats. But archers, on the other hand, are still very functional. So I'm thinking, let's use them up. So I can't land here, but they will be able to land there. So we'll prepare that. I seem to recall being able to control these. Is it H? Imagine that. No, it's just that. I don't know how you did that. But did my valetaires actually do anything? Yeah, they are. That's cool. So the archer ships arrive.
Support ships ready!
most of my start time and haven't even actually got anywhere yet. Right, let's start going towards them.
Yes, Commander.
This is going to get ugly. I hope my archers prove to be useful.
Ready and waiting.
Seriously, just start shooting.
Romans ready for duty.
There we go. Oh, thank God for that. Move in a lot closer. Worst case scenario, I can deploy you onto the field.
Out. Transports ready for orders. Moving out. Transport ships at your command.
We have discovered the enemy's hidden units.
Just continue the archer barrage. Massacre them. They're only short swords, I'm okay with that.
Ships at your command. Our missiles await your orders.
We have discovered the enemy's hidden units.
Thank you. Right, let's stop this.
At speed. For Commander. Roma
This
in
is so
victor.
gonna go badly. There's a lot of cavalry.
Jupiter gives us strength.
What have we got?
Victory! Allied troops, engage! Brave Romans to a man. Legionary cohort. Soldiers ready for orders.
Land.
Waiting. Ready for orders. Transport. Ready and waiting. Legionary cohort. By your command. Melee infantry at your command. Ready and waiting.
Well, this has gone fantastically disastrous. Protect the general.
Melee cavalry. Forward. For the gods.
Where's his general? They'll do.
Legionary cohort. Romans ready for duty. Off the boats. Orders. Triadi.
Get stuck in.
Engage.
Oh dear. Both sworn. Oops. Was not anticipating them.
Take aim. Quick march.
Kill them as quickly as possible.
Cohort quick march.
I'm gonna have to change direction. I'll just use the spearmen instead.
Melee troops awaiting orders. Legionary cohort. Advance. Ho, Roman call.
Keep piling on. Well, at least they're dying. Losing so many men.
Missile infantry at your command.
There's his general. That's not what I need. I need to get to those archers.
Yours to command. Charge! Archers!
Stop skirmishing. Fight.
Archers! Yours to command. Engage!
Charge.
Melee infantry ready. Sons of Mars.
Right, let's keep piling on.
Your orders?
The enemy general is dead.
Right, okay, so that actually didn't go all that badly. We managed to not get steamrolled, which was a pleasant surprise, I gotta be honest, because I was anticipating an actual steamrolling. You guys are so dead. My legionaries are actually holding their own. And my archers are managing to totally butt screw whatever's going on over here, while the rest of the reinforcements arrive. Starting to take a bit of damage though. Should really pull them out. Let these guys do their job. Let's get all the archers down here, it'd be probably more helpful. Fight them. It's almost like I want to abandon doing this. Right, you guys, form back up. Works for me. Boom, decisive, impressive. Long battle though. Managed to lose a lot more men than I wanted. But, killed 10 times the amount of men than I lost, so I count that as a victory. Yeah, sorry for it's, I'm not, do you know what the really best thing is when I get focused, I don't really talk. So apologies for the huge amounts of silence in that one. I'm gonna work on that, I suspect. Otherwise it's gonna be quite boring for you, so apologies. But yes, I think this is gonna be the end of the episode. Yeah, one whole episode on just one fight. It's quite a thing. No, I have to notice that he's suffering from my syndrome, where he's killing his own men. So yes, once we return to the map, and I'll call it an end. I don't even think it's going to let me capture the city either. Oh, it will. Get in the city. Right, so we actually have some level ups to do. You're there as well, so let's do this level up before we go anywhere. Cunning. Oh, I can't believe how badly damaged these guys got. Oops. Everybody's horses. So what's this city got? What do I want? Civil. Yeah, let's start with the civil. Yeah, we'll have a bit of fishy. Move that over to grain production. Right, so yes, that's the end of the episode. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like or subscribe, or preferably both. Any comments are always warmly welcomed. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.